So you just wake up. Maybe you've received a negative text message on your phone, or maybe you've even stubbed your toe, and you feel that today is going to be a really bad day. Well, science says it probably will be. Bad days are something that I'm sure all of us are familiar with. It's that feeling that just one bad thing is leading into another and it's just not ending. It feels like the world is completely against us and everyone is out to get us. This video first came to my mind during the week when it appeared to me that I was having a really bad series of days. For a start, I was arguing with my landlord over rent issues, and they were trying to charge me these additional fees for moving. I've moved flats recently, and it was really just nonsense. So I was on my phone and I was texting angrily, rapidly back and forth, trying to sort this out. And as I'm here in Russia, there's quite a lot of ice and snow. And I wasn't really watching where I was going. I slipped on some ice, I fell down, I ripped one of my only pairs of jeans and cut up both of my knees. So you can be rest assured that after this happened, I was in a horrendous mood. I was in a mood that everyone was out to get me. I went straight from there to my Russian language class, and the whole time in class I was feeling like I just wasn't understanding as much as I usually did. Every time I was making a small mistake, it was just sort of confirming what I was telling myself, this narrative that I was having a bad day, that just everything was going wrong, it was all against me. And it was really just awful, to be honest. So I was telling myself, I'm having a bad day. I was almost victimizing myself, telling myself a story where the world is against me. And when you think that that is the reality, or you convince yourself that that is the reality, it becomes it. It becomes your reality, and you really do live it. So I really wanted to know, why does this happen, and what does the science say about it? So if we take, for example, Friday the 13th, something which is considered to be a really unlucky day, it's actually people that believe in Friday the 13th, people that believe that it's something superstitious about it, that there's something bad, are actually more likely to have mishaps and misfortunes on that day than people who don't believe it. We can take this concept and apply it directly to bad days. Those who believe that they're having a bad day and frame it that way are more likely to make mistakes and essentially have a bad day, be stuck in that sort of rut, be stuck in the cycle of just negativity and small mistakes and just thinking everything is going wrong. Furthermore, as these mistakes continue, you sort of attribute more significance to them. It becomes part of this narrative and this story of it being a bad day. And this can really have a spiral effect, with essentially just meaning more mistakes leading to a worse mood, which then leads to more mistakes, and it just keeps going and going and going until we put a stop to it. After all, I think that we all really do know that it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't think anything aforementioned is strange or startling to anyone, but what I actually want to know is, why do we sit back and let it happen, and why do we believe it every single time that it happens? If we know that it is a self-fulfilling prophecy, if we know that we're making things worse and that it's not reality. So the answer is actually quite straightforward. It's that our brain prefers oversimplification. Usually simplification clears our minds, freeing our brains to draw additional connections and conclusions from complex ideas, data, and experiences. Our brain's ability to simplify is extremely helpful and useful, and it allows us to grasp much larger and more complex ideas without having to analyze and overanalyze the details of smaller sub-ideas that are part of that bigger idea. So this is exactly what happens when we have a bad day. We shift the blame to external factors, and this allows us to not overanalyze our actions, and it provides a simple explanation of what's going on in the world around us. At its core, it's oversimplification, and it may also allow us to ignore the responsibility that we have for our actions, and that can often be quite a hard thing to sink in. So upon understanding how the brain functions in this aspect, how can we theoretically never have another bad day again? Honestly, I can't definitively answer this, but for me it comes down to two main concepts: reevaluating and reframing. This provides an unbiased view of the events that are unfolding during your day. For example, you're feeling anger because you stubbed your toe, not because you're having a bad day. And you could also ask yourself, could I have avoided stubbing my own toe? Was that my responsibility? And the answer that you will find is probably yes. Of course, this is just one silly example of many things, but you can apply these principles to almost every single event that happens during your day. Reframe situations and take responsibility for what you can. With my situation, I slipped on the ice and I ripped my jeans and I cut my knees, not because the person that I was arguing with caused me to, as I would have liked to tell myself, but it was because I wasn't paying attention to the ice. I was walking too fast and I slipped and I fell and I did it. It was my fault. But I instead let the narrative and the story tell me the whole day that the world was against me and that everything was going wrong because of some simple mistakes that I made. So for me, this might sound strange, but don't trust yourself blindly. Question your actions, question what you're feeling, and question how your brain is automatically framing things. Fundamentally, what we tell ourselves all the time isn't exactly how things are. So I'm going to keep this one short. I've had a super busy week moving apartments here in St. Petersburg, Russia. I hope you're having a great week so far, and if you're not, if you're having a few bad days, stop yourself, take a deep breath and reframe the situations. Trust me, it'll really go a long way and it'll help so much. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, talking about personal development, experiences, topical issues, I would be really honored if you subscribe to my channel, and of course if you like the video, it always helps for me to know whether you enjoy this type of content or another type, if you drop a like on the video. So it's been an absolute pleasure and I'll see you guys in the next video.